I am a recovering shopaholic with 5 figures of credit card debt, and I'm tired of it.
I was supposed to be doing a no-buy year this year, but I literally completely forgot about it, and then somehow thought I was a millionaire, and now I have all this shit.
It almost made me want to purchase things more. I would see things and I'm like, oh, I can't buy it. I want it so bad.
And I know I might sound like a hypocrite already because I said I'm doing a no-buy and then I'm sharing a giant haul of things that I purchased while I was on that no-buy.
If you've tried a no-buy in the past and it hasn't worked for you, don't fret. I don't think you're alone. And I think the system is against you.
I am a recovering shopaholic with 5 figures of credit card debt, and I'm tired of it. We are not going into 2026 with credit card debt, so today starts my 60-day no-buy. The rules of my no-buy are pretty simple. Essentials only. No new clothes, no new skincare, hair care, makeup. Those are definitely my shopping vices when I'm stressed out. So this is a good detox. No new subscriptions. I'm also going to be auditing the services that I'm subscribed to. No Amazon orders, no DoorDash or Uber Eats to the house. I do have some exceptions. I can replace products only after I've shopped my beauty closet and made sure that I don't have something as a backup. Then and only then can I actually go repurchase something. My one cheat for the 60 days will be a brown sweater. I have a place in my closet for that and feel like in the fall, winter months, it would get a lot of good use. So that will be the only cheat that I'm allowing myself for this no-buy. I have to track all my expenses, hold myself accountable with all of you, and I'm allowed to make a wish list for 2026. And I think it'll be fun to share that a little later. But today is day 1. I have not shopped. I have not wanted to shop. Something I think would be fun too is to romanticize something every day. So today I am romanticizing my yellow cardigan and my cardigan collection in general. It was a very nice fall day yesterday, cozy and rainy. Today is kind of overcast, so it's getting me in the fall feels.
So for those of you who don't know, there's a trend that's been going on for a while now. This is not the first year, and it's called no buy. It's a no buy trend. So people do no buy Novembers, they do no buy 2025, no buy 2024. Soon it'll be no buy 2026. The idea is to restrict yourself from spending on things that you don't necessarily need to spend on for whatever reason that is. And there's a psychology behind it, and she touched on a lot of different components of it. So I just want to go down them one by one for what I recognize. And if I'm missing something, let me know in the comment section. The first thing is she recognized she had a problem. She said she doesn't want to have any more credit card debt. She's already in, 5 figures of credit card debt. She recognizes that it's an issue. She doesn't like it. And so she's taken the initiative to do something about it. So that's the first step, right? Don't they always say it's the first step in solving the problem that you have is realizing or recognizing that you have a problem? She also recognized her trigger. She said that when she's stressed, she buys things. So that's kind of the book, Atomic Habits. One of the things they mention is recognizing your triggers. And I think what they say is to try to fill it with something else. So if you're triggered by, let's say you get bored, you go on social media and you start scrolling, you see on TikTok shop or on IG, a nice sweater that you like and you hit buy on it. It's an impulse buy because you were bored, triggered by, well, the boredom triggered you to go on TikTok. Well, maybe you replace that TikTok vice or TikTok scrolling with, okay, whenever I'm bored, I recognize that and I go for a jog or a run. Another hack that she's doing to keep herself on target or on track is that she's romanticizing everything. She said she's going to create a wish list for 2026, which is pretty cool because she's making delayed gratification a game. So she's saying to herself, okay, I know this is temporary. It's 60 days, which I think the idea behind that is to start building the habit and letting yourself know in the back of your mind that it's not forever, so that whenever you feel that feeling of, oh, I can't do this the rest of my life, you're like, oh no, it's only this many more days. But the more days you do it, the stronger that habit becomes, and you're more likely to at least hold on to some of the good habits once you're done with the 60 days, 30 days, whatever it is. And the last thing that stood out to me is that she is focusing on appreciating what she already has. So like she said, she's going to go shop her closet, which I thought was a cool way to put it. As opposed to, before she goes to buy anything she thinks she might need, she's first going to shop to see whatever she has. Not to mention what she does have, she's going to take time to be present and appreciate it, like her yellow cardigan sweater, for example. That's key because now it's not feeling so much like deprivation, like, oh, I really want this new sweater or I want this new thing.
Oh, I can't buy it. I want it so bad.
You're like, okay, I already have something like it. Let me appreciate what I already have as opposed to seeking that new thing just for that dopamine hit.
I found myself on the minimalist side of TikTok now, and I'm inspired. I literally just want to get rid of everything that I own and start over. I just moved into this New York City apartment. Here's a tour. That's the whole thing. And here's my closet. I have multiple tubs of clothes, multiple huge like IKEA bags of clothes. I have 2 side tables that are storage tables full of clothes. And I literally wear the same outfits almost every day. Like my coworkers joke that I have like an unofficial uniform at work. I was supposed to be doing a no buy year this year, but I like literally completely forgot about it. And then somehow thought I was a millionaire, and now I have all this Let me just show you. Tags, 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 tags. I guess watch me get rid of it all.
I'm with her on wearing the same outfits all the time. It might seem like I have the same black shirt, but to be honest, I have about 15 of these shirts. It may be a problem. I have a lot of black shirts and they're all the same style. This is a different way to go about no buy, right? So she had the intention to do it, but she forgot about it and ended up buying all these clothes. So what forced her to actually make good on what she told herself she would do was forced upon her by her move and going into a small space. So I think that sometimes it takes us being jolted out of our normalcy, I think that's a word, to realize that we need to make a change and then do better, what she's doing now. This move to this New York apartment, which probably cost her $3,000 plus for that small space, which is insane, made her realize, okay, I have too much junk. How does she realize that? She has nowhere to put it. And so I think that speaks to the psychological component of it, to where sometimes it's below our level of consciousness what we need to do. It's maybe in the back of our mind tingling there, but it's really not at the forefront of our prefrontal cortex until something externally shakes us and makes us wake up, or at least pay attention to, or recognize or see clearly something that we need to do.
I just finished a 1 month long no buy challenge, and this is how it dramatically improved my impulsivity when it comes to shopping. Reasoning for doing the 1 month no buy challenge was it was on my 30 before 30 list. This is essentially a list of 30 things I created to kind of romanticize growing older and turning 30. The biggest things that came out of it was definitely helping my shopping habits. During this no buy challenge, I didn't purchase any clothing, no new skincare products, no new home gadgets, only necessities and refills. And at first, because I knew it was such a strict no buy, it almost made me want to purchase things more. I would see things and I'm like, oh, I can't buy it. I want it so bad. But honestly, after a week or so, I never thought about it. And once I got to the end of the challenge, I still didn't want to buy anything. It was not for like 3 weeks that I purchased like my first clothing item. Even then, it was something that I had on my wish list for quite some time. So that's another big thing that came out of it. This is something that I did prior and I continued through.
I want to stop her really quickly because I like that, what she just said. So I've been doing a lot of gamification in my life lately to instill better habits and to break bad habits or habits that weren't really serving me well. And one of the strategies I use is to put a strict time limit on it, knowing that when I'm done, I probably will go back to the habit just a little bit. But each time I do these 30-day, 7-day, 15-day challenges to myself, it brings me much more closer to the person I want to be for whatever that habit is. And a lot of times, if it's something that I really struggle with, I make it a shorter amount of time because it makes it more bearable. And a lot of times what I realize, like she said, after day 7, day 5 even, you're like, you know, I'm not really even thinking about what it was. For example, there was a point in time where I wanted to cut caffeine out because I was just drinking far too much caffeine. And my caffeine is sugary coffee, not black coffee. So I was getting a lot of sugar as well. And I just couldn't fathom the idea of going without my morning cup of joe. I mean, let's be honest, a lot of us feel that way. So instead of going, okay, let me go 60 days, no caffeine, cold turkey, that's it, which I knew I'd probably fail at, I said, let me start with 7 days. I can do almost anything for 7 days. So I went 7 days without caffeine. And by day 6, I stopped thinking about it. I didn't think about it at all. Only when I saw someone walk down the street with a nice iced coffee, I'm like, oh, I could really go for that right now. Other than that, it didn't cross my mind. So I think she's spot on with that, I guess gamification, you can call it.
during my no buy challenge was a wish list. So every time I would see something that I really wanted to buy, instead of buying it outright, I would add it to a running notes list that I had. And so whenever I felt the urge to purchase, I would add it to this list. And then once a week, once every other week, I wasn't strict on when I checked. I would kind of run through it and see where my desire was for these products. 9 times out of 10, when I would go back and look at it, I'd be like, I really don't care about it that much. There are certain things that are on there that I'm like, oh no, I definitely want this. And it makes getting it a little bit more satisfactory. And you know that you've put thought into this. This is something that's going to be, if it's clothing item, something that's going to be really used well in your wardrobe. Because I find myself just buying random stuff that I see when I come across a sale, or when I just see something random online that I thought was cute and I buy it. I find myself wearing it once or twice and then not really using it a whole lot. Either the quality's not great, or it's something that I can't really wear again and again. And so putting some thought in behind how much I'm spending, the quality of it, and how much use I'm going to get out of it. These are all things that having this no buy month really helped me think about. It puts space in between the impulsivity when you see something that you want and actually making the purchase. It was almost like,
I'm going to stop her again there, and I'm going to go to a really quick list so we can see some of the things that are the psychological underpinnings of the no buy. But what I want to do before I go there is say that what she just said is so key. I think what happens is by putting something in her wish list and letting it sit there, she is almost giving herself that unearned dopamine hit by still shopping, but she doesn't go through with the purchase. So then once she gets that quick dopamine hit, it goes away like all quick dopamine hits do. She can then return to the shopping cart and realize, I really didn't want that anyways. So let's take a look at the psychological mechanisms at play with the no buy trend or the no buy challenge. So the first thing is breaking impulse habits. So it says the challenge creates a temporary pause on purchasing, which can help break the cycle of emotional spending and allow people to become more mindful of why they want to buy something in the first place, which literally is what we just talked about she's doing by putting something in her shopping cart and letting it sit. Dopamine and reward pathways. The act of purchasing can trigger a dopamine release. A no-buy challenge disrupts this by preventing that instant gratification, forcing the brain to find other sources of reward. Okay, that makes perfect sense. We develop these grooves in our brain after we do something so often. You ever heard of doom scrolling on IG, for example? Each time you see a new post, which is never ending, it gives a new spark in your brain that lights up and it makes you feel good, but you're constantly searching for more because there's no real meat to it. It's all, as I call, unearned cheap dopamine. Gamification, one of my favorites. So gamification, turning saving money into a challenge with rules and milestones can make the process feel more engaging and rewarding as each day or purchase avoided becomes a small win. Now, this is one I use a lot. And this is like the main way that I instill better habits for myself is by gamifying it because it makes it fun. It's like, okay, it's a new challenge for myself. How can I beat my record from yesterday? Increased self-awareness, we talked about that. Just like when she moved to her New York City apartment, it increased her self-awareness of, oh crap, I meant to do this no-buy challenge. I'm buying all this junk. What's going on? So that's the increased self-awareness. And of course, appreciation for existing items. We saw that with the first person where she's now taking time to embrace and enjoy the sweater she does have and the things she does have to go shop her closet before she goes and buys some things that she probably doesn't necessarily need.
And I know I might sound like a hypocrite already because I said I'm doing a no buy and then I'm sharing a giant haul of things that I purchased while I was on that no buy. I'm completely aware how crazy that is. However, I also genuinely love clothing so much. I love design. I love fabrics. I love textiles. I love craftsmanship. So it is an addiction. It is also an obsession, and an obsession in like the deepest part of my heart where it brings me such pure joy. It's conflicting because I have to find the right balance, and then also, is sharing all of this good for me? I don't know. That's something I'm still trying to figure out. But also, it helps me pay down my debt because I get paid from TikTok. So that's that. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, you know?
I was about to call her out because she said that she has an addiction and an obsession. I'm like, what's the difference? But there's a difference. I'll give her that. And the reason I included this one is because I don't want to make it seem like the no buy challenge is some panacea or some fix all that's going to cure everyone's, consumerist leanings or addiction. There are drawbacks, or, it's not perfect. While the psychological underpinnings of it do, I think, work, or at least are a good start, just like anything else, you're going to have times where you slip back, you fall back, you splurge. I've done it many times. We've all done it. Going back to how I tried to cut out the coffee addiction. You know, I did it for 7 days. At one point I did it for 30 days and I felt great. I was like, oh, I don't even need coffee anymore. I'm good to go. As soon as the 30 days was over, okay, let me treat myself to a cup of coffee. Like, okay, let me treat myself to a pack of cigarettes, or let me treat myself to a 6-pack of alcohol. If, you know, not trying to minimize anyone's addiction, right? I trust me, I was binging for a few days there. I was definitely binging. So I get where she's coming from. And so I want to go talk about the drawbacks about it too. So as you see here, it says some of the potential downsides are restriction and the backlash effects. So the restrictive nature of a no-buy challenge can backfire, causing a strong desire for the forbidden items, which may lead to overconsumption once the challenge ends, which I literally just touched on. All or nothing mentality, rigid rules, can lead to feelings of failure and guilt if a purchase is made, potentially causing participants to give up entirely rather than simply readjusting their behavior. This is a big one. This is one I think that a lot of us have struggled with. I have in the past where it really was all or nothing, but I've gotten much better at saying, you know what, there are going to be times where I falter, and it's okay. Get back on the horse, keep going. Don't let it, you know, just because I have one day where I give in doesn't mean that I have to ruin the rest of the 30 days. So I think that's one way to think of it. Lack of deeper work. The challenge can become a superficial rule set rather than a tool for addressing the root cause of compulsive spending, such as emotional regulation issues. That last one, I think, is where you might need to have a little more deeper work to really understand why you are impulsively buying all these things that you are. Maybe you think of it as something that's surface level and not that big of a deal, but maybe there's something bigger at play, you know, going on. And I don't want to sit here and play armchair therapist, because I'm definitely not that. And I think we all can take some time to reflect, maybe journal, maybe go see a therapist, maybe do whatever it takes, talk to a friend, I don't know, to get a better idea of what your triggers are and where it comes from. And then maybe then you can start to do this challenge, as opposed to ignoring all the deep work and using this as a quick fix. Because then most likely after the first few days, if you make it through the whole thing even, you know, you might be back to square one.
If you've tried a no-buy in the past and it hasn't worked for you, don't fret. I don't think you're alone. And I think the system is against you. The first reason is they require a leap of faith. I mean, that's the key. To have a leap of faith, you need to trust that something out there believes in you more than you believe in yourself. But if you don't have something like that, then it's extremely difficult to have the confidence that you yourself, alone, isolated, can make that change. I've marketed products for the last 20 years. I've been a shopaholic for the same amount of time. So trust me when I say I know both sides of this coin. Another reason why a no-buy is so hard is because your body goes through a shopping withdrawal the same way that you go through any kind of withdrawal: sugar withdrawal, cigarette withdrawal, drug withdrawal, alcohol withdrawal. You might be able to grit your teeth for a few days, 3 or 4 days, but it's not going to last. Why is it so hard? I mean, the third reason, we have been increasingly trained for instant gratification over the last 15, 20 years. Grooves are already like strongly engraved in our brains to expect next day arrival, even same day shipping. Speaking of environment, fourth reason, I think the odds are really, really stacked against us. We are surrounded by commerce in real life everywhere. There are marketers, highly trained marketers everywhere, and they run the world. Going into a no-buy with some platitudes like believe in yourself and you can do it are just so empty. Because if you fail too many times, you're going to feel like the one who's got a problem. You're going to get down on yourself. Oh, I'm just not cut out for this. I lack the willpower. I'm undisciplined. If you go into a no-buy without the proper knowledge of how marketing, designing, and merchandising works, you are like a baby who is getting sent to live in the woods. The marketing people and the tech people are very interested in infantilizing you. They are rendering you helpless by making everything very easy while keeping the tools of discernment for themselves. So most people, I'm not saying all people, but most people are going to fail at their no-buys because the system is so stacked against them. You're not undisciplined. You're just over-marketed too.
So if you saw me looking down while she was talking, it's because I was taking notes, because she said a lot of gems there and I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I think she sums this video up very nicely for us. So the first thing she said is the only one I don't necessarily agree with all that much, and maybe it's just because I haven't had time to really process it. She says you need to take a leap of faith and that you need to believe there's something out there that believes in you more than you do. And I don't like to externalize something that I think should be more of a internal thing. I don't like the idea of putting my success out to some external, chance, so to speak. Now, that's not to say that maybe she's speaking about it from a religious standpoint, which if that's the case, okay, I'll let that be what it is, no problem. But if she's speaking about it just so more from like a, just a feelings perspective, I don't necessarily know that I agree with that one. But again, maybe I'm off about that. Let me know what you think. The second one she said is there's withdrawal. Now that's very real. That can be physical withdrawal, like she said, especially if you're trying to cut out sugar, which I've tried many times and failed at many times. There's literally a withdrawal from the sugar. And I'm sure you've seen documentaries on how sugar is almost more addictive than cocaine. They gave rats or mice the choice between sugar, sucrose, and cocaine. And the mice chose the sugar. That goes to show you how powerful it is. So yes, you will go through a withdrawal. And I think it goes back to the Atomic Habits book, which again, I just read the Cliff Notes. You have to replace it with something. If you just try to grit and bear it, eventually you're going to fail because we're just human. She mentioned how we're trained for instant gratification. That could be shouted from the top of the hills 1,000 times over. Every one of us has social media. Every one of us knows what that feels like. And she mentioned Amazon, another great example. Me, I'm trained now to expect to get my item within 1 day, 2 days, 3 max. So whenever I'm on Amazon, even and it says it's going to take me 7 days to get an item because maybe it's some smaller seller or something, I'm almost offended. Like 7 days, what is this? Which is crazy, right? 7 days. Before in the past, it would take forever to get to you. So instant gratification is a real thing, and that's in many areas of our life, not just when it comes to buying things. Environment. She mentioned environment, so huge. Another thing that is spoken about in Atomic Habits. Like, I'm not endorsed by Atomic Habits. I just bring it up because I think it has a good framework on how to establish good habits and maintain it. You want to make your environment as conducive as possible to achieving your goal. So if you're someone who, let's say, is trying to lose weight, that's a good example that people use often. If you're trying to lose weight and your trigger is sweets, you might want to remove the cookies, the cakes, the donuts, the candy from your cabinets. Toss them out or give them away and don't put any more in your house, because if you have them in your house, you're more likely to give into cravings much easier than if you had to get dressed and drive to the store to buy them. Kind of makes sense when you just think about it, like, yeah, that's common sense. Last thing she talked about that I saw anyways is educating yourself on marketing and advertising. She said that we're all over marketed to, which could not be further from the truth. We are all over marketed to, all of us. Even someone like myself who is far from a consumer. So I know a lot of times I make these videos and I'm like, it's easy for me to say because I just don't like spending money anyways. So I try to put myself into the shoes of a spender. My mother is a spender. Well, she's a shopper, not really a spender. She likes to thrift and buy little knickknacks and go, window shop or whatever. That really, her and my aunt, they're like two peas in a pod. I can't even begin to put myself in their shoes because I get anxiety from shopping. I get anxious from having to buy things and having to figure out, which thing I want to buy. I literally outsource buying things to friends and family because I just don't like shopping. That's how bad it is. Anyway, even me, marketing, if I see something online while I'm just scrolling, YouTube or on, Google, yeah, I mean, it's subconscious. I'm more likely to buy it. And Google's listening to us because I'll say something, me and my friends have a conversation, and what do you know? Pops up on my side as an advertisement. And yes, these big companies they know you better than you know yourself. They know me better than I know myself, and they know what's going to get us to click buy. So that being said, I think it's very interesting, the psychology behind the no buy challenge. I think it's overall a good thing. I think overall it has more benefits than it has drawbacks. And so I'm all for it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Are you for it? Have you tried it? What do you think about it? Let me know. That being said, thanks for sticking this far in the video. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you. If you made it this far, please leave me a comment and let me know because you are a real one. And yeah, until next time, make smart financial decisions.